A Sapphire Running Zone Podcast.
Hi everyone, this is Tim from Sapphire Running Zone and welcome to another of our podcasts, a very special podcast today because we are joined by Clark Reynolds, aka Mr. Dot, fresh from his amazing adventure a couple of days ago in Brighton. He's had the most incredible coverage of this incredible run, and he's going to tell us a little bit more. We're also joined by Alastair, who was his guide runner, which is fantastic. So he was there on the day to give Clark a little bit of support, although I don't think he needed it really. Clark's going to talk us through exactly what it was all about. So welcome, Clark. Great to see you're in one piece.
I am in one piece, a bit red-faced. I forgot about the sea breeze. I should have known better. No sun cream, so I kind of got a lobster face, and that's the bit that hurts the most today. Is my nose is on fire.
Right, so tell everyone what you've achieved.
I've achieved the world's first blind person running a marathon using smart glasses connected to an app called Be My Eyes. Literally the world's first right here in the UK. And it wasn't just about me, it was a team effort over 10 months, all those volunteers, all my training period, and all the tech that was behind it, and Be My Eyes. And it was emotional. I mean, it's one of the greatest achievements of my life.
Well, absolutely. So just for those that aren't familiar with the glasses or the app, just talk us through exactly how it all works.
So the Meta Ray-Ban glasses are the smart tech, the smart glasses. You know, they've been out about 18 months in the UK, longer than obviously in the US. And they're just like your phone, so but you obviously you wear your phone on your face, if that makes sense. And the app Be My Eyes is a free app for the visually impaired community, and it's been out for about 10 years. And what it does, it links sighted volunteers to the visually impaired community, and it's used mostly on a daily basis. So if I said the magic words, "Hey, hey Meta, call Be My Eyes," it would take over the camera and the glasses, and a sighted volunteer from anywhere around the world would help you do the task that you find difficult if you can't see. Now, as an artist who pushes the boundaries of Braille, I thought, what could I do to push the boundaries of this amazing technology, amazing collaboration, which it is a collaboration, the Meta Ray Bans and Be My Eyes. And I thought, let's run another marathon. You know, I've done a marathon before. I was tethered, I had a guide runner, and I find it really hard to train in. And this time round, because of the nature of the app, I could train perfectly. I could train like a sighted person could train and build up that stamina. And on the day, we didn't know it was going to work. There was so many. We talked about what was going on in the background. We had no idea. Obviously, we didn't know all those people. Everyone's got on their Wi-Fi. We didn't know if anyone could be connected. And so, Be My Eyes, we've done connectivity test. They've got this new group app now. So, beforehand, I had complete strangers. I didn't know who they were, volunteers from around the world for my training runs. But on the marathon day, there was a group, and you was one of the people on that group, wasn't you?
Indeed,
Uh,
indeed. And what a privilege it was as well. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But yeah, it was fantastic to be involved. But as you said, when you did your training, that wasn't the case, was it? You would literally call people up.
yeah, and the training, and then that was really what the story was about. I never thought the story was about that human connection. I didn't realise all those volunteers gave up, 5, 10, even half an hour of their time, helping my training runs. But like we did in the marathon, just chat away. It was about connections. It's about why you're using this app. What is sight loss? They asked about how I see, and that's the takeaway from this whole experience was that connection. The marathon almost was like a conduit to have these conversations. Even though I run 26 miles, right, and I was knackered through the legs and through the mouth, it was all about human connection, and that is really important.
Yeah, for sure. So did the training go to plan? And I know when I spoke to you on race day, you felt you hadn't quite gone far enough in training. How would you say it was?
I trained as best I could, and I said I didn't feel any pain in my legs or my hips. I built up that pace. I was really happy. I think we were on for about 5.5 hours, which is beyond what my pace was, which is great. But I was wearing all the tech on my front vest, and it was almost like a Chinese torture that kept on bouncing up and down. And eventually, I got bruised ribs up the top. And round about mile 18, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't take in the oxygen. And that's where Alastair really, do you know what? I didn't know where he was half the time because the tech works so well. And isn't that the beauty of what we were trying to do? And so he really helped me through that period about like we were doing stuff, we were running and walking, and he really helped me control that because it really like you imagine like you're not getting the oxygen and you're trying to run. It was really hard. But I found out the other day because obviously I didn't know what Alistair was doing all the time. I was on the glasses chatting away to people like yourself. He was actually supporting other marathon runners because we were at the end. So we were at the group, and obviously at the end, you get those people that are not marathon runners but are trying to do something because they want to. And I got a message on Facebook saying your guide runner was supporting me. He was giving me motivational speaking. And I thought that was an amazing. I didn't know what was going on. So I mean, big up to Alistair on that.
That is fantastic that he's able to help other people as well. I think I joined you at about that 18-mile mark, I think. And yeah, I think you were definitely finding the rubbing of the tech a bit of a problem at that stage, weren't you? And presumably that's not something you were able to replicate in training, was it?
No, no. In hindsight, maybe a backpack, but I wanted to just the idea of having my phone next to me just in case we had to do something quickly. It was yeah. If I was in a backpack, it'd be like stop, start. But I did it. No one's done it like that before, so it was a learning curve. And as I said, when I crossed that line, it was amazing. When I crossed that line, I actually had a sighted volunteer to spur me on the last 500 meters. I don't know if anyone saw the coverage because they sliced it apparently with me crossing the line with the actual volunteer cheering me on at the same time. No one can take that away that I was the first person in the world to do this. I've left a legacy.
You certainly have, and I'm going to include that little clip on the blog post that will accompany this podcast as well, because it is a fantastic little clip. That it really is. So, what were your feelings like when you were on the start line? Then, lots of excitement, lots of nerves.
It was excitement. So I did the London one, and if people have done the London one, London's weird, isn't it? Because not everyone's at the same place. But Brighton had this energy, you could feel it. Everyone starts off the same space, right? And it didn't feel overcrowded, 15,000 runners in this massive park, and it just felt like something special was gonna happen. And the route was I mean, there's hills. I mean, literally come around the corner and the first bit, there's a hill. And I mean, that's my takeaway, I'm really proud of. I run every hill at the Brighton Marathon, which is exciting.
That's impressive. And when did you start? Taking your gels and all that race nutrition.
Yeah, so we worked out. So every half hour with the volunteer and the glasses. Again, we talked about. I was nervous because there's so many people. We didn't know if we was going to get a connection. As soon as I crossed the start line, I said those magic words: "Hey, Meta, be my cool, be my eyes." And I was like, I had my toes crossed, my fingers crossed, everything was crossed. And then when I heard that static, the crackle in the ears, and that first person said hello, I was like in my inside, I felt, my God, this could work. This could physically work, and it was amazing. So that, and then we worked it out every half hour. I took my gels. I lots of fluids. I had a fluid bottle, so I was drinking a lot of fluid. And obviously, I think those last 5 miles, right, you could put weight on, can't you? Because they're amazing. The amount of people, the kids that are out there with loads of sweets, crisps, apples, sausage rolls. I did use my glasses. It was a lovely girl, a lovely moment. I think summed it up. And I said to the girl, I said, "Oh, by the way, I've got someone who's guiding me in the glasses." And I was wondering, could she pick a sweet out for me? So, because I can't see. And her mum was like, "What?" I was like, so I used it, and then she was saying, "Oh, there's a jelly bean, there's a gummy bear." So I choose the sweet using my glasses as well.
Amazing tech, and for you to be sort of testing it out on a race like this was unbelievable. I was really surprised how clear it all was. It was absolutely incredible, and you had very few technical issues. There was just a couple of weak network areas, which wasn't the fault of the tech, obviously. But generally speaking, you had great connection all the way around, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, there was one big blip, but I think there was a party going on this year. There was so much music, and it was right by the seafront. But that was the only big blip. After that, it was fine. But even Be My Eyes were amazed. The people that were organised at the back, and they were saying like, a good 98% of the time was done through the app. 26.2 miles, 98% was done through the app, you know? And I talked for about 25 miles. I think I had a mile when my brain wasn't registering what I was saying, so I couldn't. But I did pretty well. I think, talking for that long amount of time as well, I think I done really well on that score.
Well, I think that's the other point, isn't it? The fact that not only were you running 26.2 miles, but you were talking for 26.2 miles, which is quite unusual for marathon runners. They're not normally talking that long, are they? How on earth did you find the breath to keep doing that?
I had a great pace. Now, when I was we talked about the training. My training, I didn't revert back to my training. I didn't go any faster or quicker. I trained for about 7 kilometers an hour, and it would, I said we would have hit the hour mark. It would have been perfect. I did it in 6 hours and 20 just because of the ribs, but I was happy with that. And I just got used to speaking to those volunteers over that period of time from the end of August to the marathon. And it wasn't just like we talked about left, right, there's someone go slow down. We talked about everything from what they've been doing during the day to books they're reading to movies. It was just a general conversation as if I'm down the pub with you, but yeah, I'm running the 26 miles and we're having a conversation. That's how I felt it. That's what I was trying to achieve. Yeah. Just normality.
I think that's the key, isn't it? With marathon training, you train as you want to be on race day, and the fact that you use this app and the tech during your training meant that when it came to race day, it wasn't a shock. You were used to talking and running, whereas obviously most marathon runners are not. So if someone hadn't trained in that way, they would have found that very difficult on race day. But because you were totally familiar with it, it wasn't a shock to the system. The only shock for you, obviously, was having to run 26.2 as opposed to your furthest run in training, which wouldn't have been that long.
No,
Um,
I think half a marathon. I mean, I got that. I found about 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours to 3 hours which is about 13 miles was like my max. I thought, they put go further than that because I felt fine. When you run like that thing, you think, well, do you know what? I could go on for another 2 hours, but I didn't want to because there was no need because the body was used to that. The body was used to that pace, And like I said, I got no pains in myself, right, apart from the ribs. I got 2 water blisters, none on my soles of my feet, which is amazing. I got these 2 little water blisters in between the toes, which is a bit weird. But apart from that, that's fine, And I'm so happy for the charity ambassador I am. We haven't talked about charity, Fight for Sight. When I said 10 months ago, when I thought about this idea, they've been a really conduit between obviously the marathon organisation, the Be My Eyes. They've let me, do what I've been doing, and obviously the PR has been astronomical. It's gone viral. I think every country in the world apart from Antarctica.
Tell us a bit more about that. Tell us where you've appeared.
South Korea, New Zealand, Brazil. I think the weirdest one, I've not seen the footage yet. So I had German TV coverage. They came to my house, filmed me for the whole day, and they were at the Brighton Marathon, and they filmed me at the Brighton Marathon the whole day as well. So yeah, it's been astronomically crazy. I mean, this is a running podcast, right? And I know people still think I'm a runner. I'm not a runner. I'm just an artist that kind of like does crazy things, and it just happens that I did a marathon. You could call it performance art in a way, if that makes sense.
You are a runner. You've done 2 marathons. You should be very proud. So you were on. I saw you on Channel 5 News. You've had a big article on the BBC website. Where else have you appeared within the UK?
Oh yeah, so Channel 5, ITV Meridian, all the local newspapers, every local radio. I think I've appeared. There's been a snippet of me. BBC Radio 4 In Touch, RNIB Connect Radio, CNN. I did an interview with CNN yesterday, so that should have hit their social medias today. Um, I think I think, I've raised, I think, over 2,500, £2,700 to date for the charity, but the amount of coverage and exposure the charity is accumulated to tens of thousands of pounds. And that makes me so proud I could have done that.
Well, that's absolutely unbelievable. It really is. That sort of coverage for the charity is absolutely invaluable. So not only did you get amazing coverage, you got, you've raised not far off 3 grand. Um, but I'm sure there's plenty more to come. But before we talk about that, what was it like going down that last mile, knowing that you were going to finish this race?
I mean, I'm sure they moved the finish line. I'm sure they did. Many occasions I was thinking, "Where is it? Where is this finishing line?" I suppose most runners feel like that at the end. And, I wanted to get over the line. I wanted to get over the line. Someone spur me on, because that was the highlight. I bet she felt so proud, that woman who when you post it, because you all made history, but she could say, "Look, I got this guy over the line. I don't know him, but
Yeah.
and it was just it made history, and all the emotion. I'm a big fan of golf, and obviously Rory McIlroy done the Rory Roar at the end when he won the Masters, and I did the Mr. Duck Roar at the end. I had so much. It was emotional. I cried. I hugged the team. I hugged Alistair, and it was really nice. Oh, I got my medal from, which is a lovely medal to feel as well. I got my medal from an actual volunteer from Be My Eyes. She wants to give my medal, but then I wanted to give my medal to Alistair. He was there. We had to have a guide runner, and I wanted that, because of, we didn't know what was going to happen. But he was there as a support runner, but more as a great friend. We've known each other only 5 months, and I can call him now a friend. And he kept me hydrated. He changed my glasses. He was the best donkey on the day, if I can say that.
Oh, that's great to hear. And we'll chat to him in a second. But what's next for you then? What's the next marathon?
No, no more marathons, right? I'm chewing out. I mean, I do like odd numbers as an artist. It is one of those things. It just drives me nuts that I haven't got the third one. But I don't know. I don't know. It'd be interesting, because how technology evolves. Who knows what comes out next couple of years? Maybe there's something we could do. Maybe doing an abroad marathon with some really cool tech. Maybe that will give me some different kind of simulations or something. I don't know what's out there, but if there's something out there that pushes the boundaries, you guarantee Mr. Duck will be there pushing it to its limits.
Well, it's good to hear that 1 minute ago you said, I'm never doing a marathon again, and then all of a sudden you are. So we'll take that as a yes, I am going to do one, but it depends on the tech.
It depends on the tech, yeah. I'm 45. Let's say I want to get that third one in, because, like I say, it's got to be an odd number, otherwise it'd do made in. Um, so maybe before I'm 50, technology. If someone is listening to this and they've got a really interesting tech they want to tech out for blind marathon, then I'm your man, maybe.
Definitely, definitely. Right, let's hear a little bit from Alistair. Hi, Alistair. If we've heard from Clark, so let's hear what the race was like for you. What were the main challenges?
Main challenges really was trying to slow Clark down at the beginning. And he was adamant he wanted to be running up the hills. That was the main challenge, in slowing him down at the beginning, which is very difficult.
What was it like then logistically then with these glasses that you had to keep recharging? Was that fairly straightforward, or was that a little bit different than you expected?
It was more than I expected. We had to stop every call, so every half an hour. So I had to just go through the glasses and then go up in from 1 to 4 and try not to use the same one again, and let it charge. Um, Relatively straightforward. There was a couple of hiccups when one of them wasn't connecting properly, so we had to change again. But apart from that, it was quite simple, quite easy. Yeah, nothing to worry about.
What was the logistics like then? Because you picked him up nice and early, didn't you? And you drove to the race. What was the what was the whole parking thing like, getting in the right wave?
Yeah, it was, I left my house 5:30, picked him up about 7:30, and then we drove to Brighton. We got a train from one of the stops just a bit further up the road out of Brighton, due to just ease of parking and easier for Clarke to get about. And we got a train for one stop, got off at Brighton, and then just walked up to the start. We got to the start line, and he done some stretching and got ready and prepped for it. I got the bag and the glasses all sorted, his food and drink all sorted, and stood in the start line. It's very straightforward. We were the last wave to go, so it's not too busy, so it's quite good.
And what was the crowd support like for him along the course?
Very good, very good. There's a lot of people as you're running along, especially the runners, were looking at him strangely because he's talking to the glasses, and a couple of times they're about to go, "Don't worry, he's not crazy. He's actually talking to someone." Because if you don't know, you don't know. And I had a large flag on it just so that people know that it was a little bit different to the norm. But yeah, it was really good. We had a few people go, "Oh, I saw you on TV," or "I heard you on the radio," and stuff like that, which is really good. I gave him a little boost along the route. So yeah, it's good support, especially sort of near the latter stages, which is when he needed it. Um, yeah, support was very good actually.
What was the finish like?
Um, it was quite a lot of people. There's a little stand and that, so you come through. But I was more concentrating on Clarke at that time, as he was just sort of coming out of the dark hole he'd been in for the last few miles. But he, yeah, it was really good. A lot of people. We were seen at the end by a film crew. The Fight for Sight representatives were there, so we were at the end chatting. So for me, it's a bit of a different to a normal marathon. Normally, you run through and then you're out the other side picking up your medal and that. Here we sat there chatting for a while, which was quite nice.
Did you have a pint somewhere, or did you just get him
No,
straight home?
I think he was eager to get home because he was feeling a little bit tired, which you expect, a little bit sore and that. So we were walking back, and he was like, "I want to get an Uber." I was like, "Nah, come on. If you sit down for half an hour, you'll regret it. Let's walk." So we walked down there, and there's a couple of young ladies walking the other way with chips, and Clark's like, "Oh, chips!" And she went, "Oh, would you like one?" So he ate one. He's like, "I want some chips. I want some chips." So when we stopped off a portion of chips,
You did an incredible job on the day, and look forward to the next one. Who are you supporting next?
I've got in 2 weeks London. I've got a lady called Kirby Brown who's running in a frame, so I've got that in 2 weeks.
Right, that's absolutely fantastic. Both of you, I really appreciate you coming on. Clarke, you did an incredible job. Alastair, you did an incredible job as well. And I really appreciate you both joining me today. And look forward to the next one, Clarke.
Yeah, yeah, I can still run though. I am once after get 2 weeks out of the way, I'm going to still do 5K a week, and that's a promise to myself because it helps me just de-stress from my art. So I'm going to do 5K a week. Yeah, and I think I've got that from the impetus of doing it through the app as well. So I've got the joy of running, but not the joy of running a marathon every week.
Great stuff. Good luck with it all.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to this Sapphire Running Zone podcast. Keep checking back as we have lots more podcasts coming soon.